On the back roads just outside of Downingtown, Pennsylvania, is a place known to many an adventuresome soul as the Gates of Hell. Located on a strange, lonely stretch of dirt known as Sawmill Road, the name came from the tall wrought iron gates painted blood red that once stood guard at the front of a long driveway that snakes back up into the woods to a huge estate. Legend has it that long ago this site was the scene of a grisly murder-suicide committed by a deranged father who killed his wife and children with a shotgun, then dragged their bloody bodies down the long driveway to hang them on the sharp iron bars of the gate before turning the shotgun on himself. The property itself, seemingly preserved as a crime scene, consisted of an abandoned main house with bullet holes in the windows, an empty swimming pool, and a garage that had its windows concreted shut. Also on the property is a dark, still lake, which is enclosed by a rusty old fence. For many years, rumors of cults, devil worshippers, and the mafia using the property as a hideout has plagued the area. There were also rumors of a small family cemetery plot located somewhere on the property, and a huge mansion farther back in the woods past the other buildings. Teenagers looking for a thrill would drive to the gates late at night, where the story was that if you drove your car through the gates, the car would stall and not start back up again until the car was moved back past the gates. The even more daring would make their way up the winding mile-long driveway, through the woods to the abandoned house at the top.
Well, it was about 18 years ago when I went up there. Me and a friend climbed over the gates, went up just to see what it was all about. We've always heard the rumors. There's a really long driveway, and on either side of the driveway was really thick woods that you really couldn't see like 15 to 20 feet into it. Finally made it up to the garage, and we didn't know which way to go from there. It being pitch black. We had walked almost all the way around it trying to find another path, and all of a sudden we heard all these footsteps coming, and we hear this voice going, "Get him!" We're like, and I looked at my friend, and I was like, "We didn't just hear that." He goes, "I heard that," and we're like, "Let's get out of here." And so we took off running. We got down the garage and started running down the driveway a little bit, and we were both really out of breath, and we decided to stop to take a rest. We felt we had lost them, and then we just kept hearing all these footsteps, and it sounded like at least 10 people were coming after us, but it wasn't coming from the driveway because we kept flashing the flashlight up the driveway. It was coming from the woods. Whoever or whatever was after us was running through the woods and fast, and there was no flashlights. Whoever was running through it really either knew the woods or whatever. All I know is it sounded like a bunch of people were coming to get us, and we really flew over those gates and hopped in the car and took off. And that it really shook us up. That was my experience at the Gates of Hell.
Now, the property is littered with no trespassing signs and hints that hunters stalked the area. Also, the blood-red wrought iron gates are gone, probably due to the late-night visits of thrill-seeking teenagers, and the abandoned house and other structures are now reduced to rubble, and nature seems to be reclaiming some of the driveway. This video footage shot in the summer of 1999 shows you how the house and the surrounding property used to be.
Here we are, we're walking up Gates of Hell driveway. Should have cut through the woods to get here.
Well, the mystery of the Gates of Hell has never been solved, but this is just total blasphemy. I don't think we're ever going to come up here again, because it's just been too vandalized, and it takes the fun out of the mystery.
That's it. Apparently there's Glass broken. People broke a lot of glass. There's nothing in it anymore that we can remember. That's the windows fixed.
That's exactly how it was.
Everything's exactly how it was in
The
this
pine
room.
cone's still there.
Think that's how they got in?
Here's the word pool. There's a lawnmower in the pool, which I don't think was there before. At least that I can remember.
That would have finally evaporated.
Yeah, the water finally evaporated. There's the stairs. There's some. Here's this weird little pool thing. We're not messing with that. Here's the garage. Here's the gunshot bullets. There's shots in the house we can't see anymore. That's where it's boarded up. But here's the shotgun shellers. Calm down. Well, there used to be a window with bars. Now there's just cement blocks.
Over the years, there has been a lot of stories and visitors to this strange place, and if you've ever ventured to the gates late at night, or tracked its long driveway through the vast woods to the abandoned estate, you know there is an evil that inhabits the legendary Gates of Hell.